Lately, I didn't have much of an appetite and had been throwing up everything I ate, so I went to the hospital for a checkup. When the doctor informed me that I was pregnant, I shed tears of joy. My husband and I had been childhood friends and married after graduating from university, but we hadn't been able to have a child. My husband tried to comfort me and said, "Pregnancy should come naturally. Maybe our baby is waiting for the right moment." Now the right moment had finally arrived. "Ma'am, you're already 4 months pregnant. The fetus is healthy, but you should still avoid any external impacts." With a gentle smile, I caressed my slightly protruding belly. It had already been 4 months. My periods had always been irregular, and when I gained weight around my waist, I had just thought it was due to me eating too much. At home, I could hardly hold back my excitement. I cooked a meal and planned to deliver it to my husband, while also personally sharing the good news with him. Carrying the lunchbox, I walked smoothly through the entrance of the Gates group. As I was about to push open the door of my husband's office, a glamorous woman stopped me. "What are you doing?" Her tone was cold, and she scrutinized me unfriendly. I lifted the lunchbox for her to see and said, "I'm here to deliver lunch to Simon." In front of others, I didn't like to directly call Simon my husband. She sighed in relief and said sarcastically, "Oh, so you're just a servant. I'm Lily, Mr. Gates's chief secretary. Give me the lunchbox. You can leave now." I shook my head. "I'm not a servant. I want to personally deliver the lunch to Mr. Gates. Please let me in." As soon as I finished speaking, the woman's anger flared. She snatched the lunchbox from my hands. "Who do you think you are? You're just a servant, and you think you can seduce Mr. Gates. You're dressed so coquettishly as well. I'll teach you a lesson that you'll never forget today." Saying this, she swiftly dragged me into the meeting room, shut the door, and slapped me. My face instantly swelled, and I fell to the ground. Before I could react, I was kicked on the head. The baby. Ignoring everything else, I curled up and tightly protected my belly. "I want to see what you're delivering to Mr. Gates." Lily would open the lunchbox and dumped its contents on my head. The beef soup that I had spent hours cooking was scalding hot and dripped from my hair onto the floor. My scalp burned with pain. But I didn't dare change my position, afraid of harming the baby. "Oh, there's also roast chicken. But you can forget about trying to please Mr. Gates with food like this." She grabbed my chin roughly, applying pressure to force my mouth open. "If you like cooking so much, then why don't you have a taste of your own cooking?" The roast chicken, dripping with grease, was slammed onto my face. My eyes and nose were immediately overwhelmed with a burning sensation, and I cried out in pain. Lily lightly clapped her hands and said with disgust, "So gross and greasy, it almost ruined my new manicure." Looking down at me with contempt, she continued, "Do you really believe the saying that to win a man's heart, you should first win his stomach? With your status, why do you think you deserve Mr. Gates?" I tried to explain, but was interrupted by a coughing fit from the grease. The oil had choked me a little, which made it difficult for me to say anything. At that moment, there was a knock on the meeting room door. "Lily, what's up with the noise inside?" I breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that I was saved. However, Lily just sneered and went to open the door. "This bitch is trying to seduce Mr. Gates. I'm just teaching her a lesson." The secretaries at the door all had disdainful looks on their faces. "Mr. Gates is a great man. That's why these bitches all want to seduce him." Lily snorted. "I know." With that said, she looked at me with hostility, while I was crawling pitifully on the ground. She then said disdainfully, "Some people just have no shame." I took out my phone with trembling hands in an attempt to give my husband a call. Suddenly, Lily's eyes turned cold as she stared at my phone. She then reached out and snatched my phone. Her eyes flashed as she glared at the back of my phone. "It's obvious what you're trying to do. You've even bought a phone case that's coupled with Mr. Gates." She threw the phone on the ground forcefully, and it shattered into pieces. "You bitch." Lily grabbed me and kept on slapping me like some kind of angry lunatic. "I was planning on letting you off this time, but now I've changed my mind. A bitch like you will never learn your lesson without any pain." I was thrown on the ground like some kind of rubbish. "Girls, this woman dares to seduce Mr. Gates. How about we strip her clothes off?" The other secretaries nodded in agreement and were about to pounce on me that I used all my strength and climbed towards the door. Then my hand began to hurt. Lily had stepped on my left hand. The pain was so excruciating that it made me scream. The other secretaries quickly came over and grabbed me. Lily squatted down and looked at me with playful eyes. "You have a pretty face, but don't worry. I won't scratch your face at the moment. That's because I'm planning on taking photos of you naked and posting them on the internet. It'll be too bad if I scratch your face, and other people won't be able to recognize you." My whole body was trembling. I tried to protect my belly, but couldn't move at all. Lily picked up a pair of scissors from nowhere and started cutting my dress that I didn't dare move or scream. I was scared that she would accidentally harm the child in my womb. Soon, my dress was in pieces, and parts of my body were exposed. "You whore! No wonder you had the courage to seduce Mr. Gates. You really do have a good figure." At some point, a large crowd had gathered at the door. Though most of them watched with indifferent eyes, a few people with a sense of justice stepped forward to dissuade Lily. "Lily, that's enough. If someone really gets killed, it will be difficult to explain to Mr. Gates." Lily, however, was unconcerned, poking my forehead with her long nails. "She's just a servant trying to seduce Mr. Gates. As Mr. Gates's secretary, isn't it my duty to handle any trouble around him?" The person tried to say more, but Lily's expression turned stern. "Are you sure you want to side with this bitch and oppose me, one of Mr. Gates' most trusted employees?" Upon hearing this, the person hesitated and dared not say anything further. "Lily, this woman seems to be pregnant." An observant secretary pointed at my stomach and shouted that Lily's gaze became sharp as she quickly walked up to me and stared at my stomach, as if she were trying to see through it. Lily suddenly laughed, but her cruel expression did not match the laughter, as if she were about to tear me apart the next second. I never expected that despite all my precautions against the company's shameless women, I'd still fail to guard against you, a sex slave. "You dare to carry Mr. Gates's child? I want to see if you even have the chance to give birth to it." She grabbed my hair and instead of simply slapping me, slammed my head against the wall. "Go to hell. All women who try to take Mr. Gates from me must die." Exhausted from beating me, Lily threw me to the ground. Before I could catch my breath, I began to feel intense pain in my abdomen that I instinctively curled up. But it was of no use at the last moment before I could no longer bear the pain. I shouted, "I'm Simon's wife." The room became silent for a moment. Slap? I wasn't saved but was slapped again by Lily. "So if you're Mr. Gates's wife, then who am I? Moreover, I've worked for Mr. Gates for 5 years and have known him for 10 years. I've never heard of him being married. How dare you deceive me, you shameless bitch?" I spat out a mouthful of blood and tried to explain. "We're childhood sweethearts. I'm really his wife." Hearing Simon's name, some of the other secretaries looked worried and wanted to stop Lily. But Lily waved them off dismissively. "Don't worry. I am the person who knows Mr. Gates best." She looked me up and down with disdain that my torn dress was cast aside like a rag. I wasn't wearing any jewelry or designer items, not even carrying a designer handbag. The lunchbox I carried was just a cheap one that one could get from the supermarket. Lily sneered. "Besides, look at this poor, shabby woman. She's not got a single designer piece on her. How could she possibly be Mr. Gates's wife?" I finally managed to catch my breath but felt warmth between my legs. I had a bad feeling about this. "Blood! She's bleeding." One of the secretaries backed away in panic and my heartbeat quickened, and I became frantic that I weakly raised my hand trying to grab something, but all I felt was more blood gushing out from beneath me. Lily glanced over and scolded the secretary. "What's the fuss? It's just a bit of blood. What's there to be afraid of? Besides, she's a mistress. The child she's carrying is illegitimate. It's only natural for an illegitimate child to be terminated." The crowd fell silent, not daring to speak up for me that I clutched my stomach, nearly begging, "Please call an ambulance. My baby, my baby." But no one moved to help me. Everyone could only watch with indifference and a hidden satisfaction, waiting for me to miscarry. Lily continued to watch me for at least 10 minutes while I bled out. Finally, she picked up the phone and dialed a number that I thought she would call an ambulance for me. But instead I heard Simon's voice. "What's the matter?" the man on the other end of the line asked indifferently, his tone neutral and unreadable. "Mr. Gates, another woman has come to the company today, wanting to deliver food to you." When Lily spoke to Simon, her demeanor was completely different from her aggressive behavior towards me. She sounded delicate and almost sweet. Simon seemed impatient. "You're asking me about this minor issue? What is the point of having you as my secretary if you can't handle such things? Just deal with it yourself." Without another word, he hung up. Lily cocked her brows and looked around with smug satisfaction. "Did you hear that? Mr. Gates told me to handle it." I opened my mouth to cry out, but I was too weak to make a sound. Lily walked towards me in her high heels. She stepped on my face with her high heels and kept pressing down with force. "With the amount of blood that's coming out of you right now, the platform won't let me post photos of you because it's too bloody. Consider yourself lucky this time, but now it's time for your face. I'd like to see how you'll seduce Mr. Gates without this pretty face of yours." With that said, she took out an art knife and began touching my face with it. Just when I was about to lose all hope, Lily's phone rang. "It was Simon." Lily answered the call. "I need the documents from the Naliston project prepared immediately. Get them ready right now." "Yes, Mr. Gates. I'll be at the company in about 10 minutes.